So by drive, hello there, welcome back. So by drive, it's about 10, 10 minutes from my house to their house, give or take. So by walk, I definitely was going to take a longer time. And she started walking. So the husband got the kids, got in the car, and drove her here because he didn't know what was pulling her to my house. So he comes here and said, well, your daughter wanted to come here. What? You're not here because my dad died. Nobody called you. No. And he said, we're here because I want you to pray for her. I just sat there shocked and speechless. I'm like, my dad just died. And I didn't say that to them. Like, why are you here? Don't you know my mom, my dad just died and you want me to pray? No. Because if you are a woman of God, when you're called into ministry, when God has that call on you, in that moment, I couldn't have told them that, please, can you leave? Because I just got this very bad news and my heart is so broken. I cannot operate, I cannot speak, I cannot breathe. But in that moment, I just looked up and I said, God, really? Like, seriously, now? You sent somebody to me now, today, of all days, of all times. She couldn't have come tomorrow, or she couldn't have come, later on in the day. You sent her to me now. And what do? I wipe my tears. I say, okay, I hear you. You need me to pray for your wife. You're a woman of God. You're the prophetess. You're the one preaching Christ. She needs prayers. So I put aside my burden. I put aside my cross, my pain, that my heart was breaking so much, to pray. Yes, that's what I did. I prayed. I had to pray for this couple, take care of the situation for a couple of hours, forgetting that I went into prayer mode. I went into, okay, this is God's business now. And I ended up actually babysitting the babies as well. But in that moment, it hit me that God sent her there to me in that moment of my pain, of my shock, of my grief, because this hit me. It hit me like a ton of bricks. And I think God knows us so much that He knew how much this was going to hurt. He knew the pain. He knew that He needed a distraction so that the impact of the pain, of the bad news, will not be so devastating. I can catch my breath, or I can reel back from it. So He sent that young lady and that couple on that day, in that moment, in that hour, to come and distract me. Because by the time I finished these prayers with them, the 2 hours prayers and taking care of the two kids, I had simmered down in the vibration of the shock and the pain that was, going through my body, because it just hit me like that. And it goes to tell you the deep love. In that moment, I was like, wow, God must love me so much that He knew the news was coming. And in that moment, the Holy Spirit was just prompting this girl to come to my house on that day, in that hour, in that very second, so that I'll be distracted. And by the time I'm done with them, I would have calmed down. This is what God did. So in the pain and in that storm that hit me like that, God found a way to comfort me. God found a way to, give me a grace out of it. So that's why I said 2023, the testimonies that are coming up your way, you'll be surprised, because in all that up to today, 28th of December, when I write in my book, I write the word, grace, because everything that happened throughout the year, I choose to see the grace of God in it. Every storm, because I'm about to share with you storm after storm after storm after storm throughout every single month. And you will see that it has been the grace of God. So let's paddle back to 20th January. The death happens. I'm shocked by it. You know, I'm broken by it. Like, God, you broke my heart. Daddy, you broke my heart. And how am I going to do this? How am I going to be able to get on? Because I haven't seen him in a while, and I'm just only going to go to his funeral. And that really, hurt, because I love my dad, and as I said, I was daddy's girl, so this news was bad. Well, a week later, still, and I think it was just, no, it was less than a week later. It was 4 days later. I get a call, and I'm still processing. I'm still grieving. I'm still shocked by this news. Then I get another call. I said, okay, how can I help you? He said, woman of God, I know your father died. I know it. I'm not stranger to the news. I know about it, but my daughter needs your help. Okay, hold on. You know that my father just died. I'm not in a very good place. I am crying. I am wailing. I am broken. But you want me to help your daughter? And she said, yes. So I saw that in that moment. I look up again, and I didn't say anything. I didn't tell these words that I'm saying to her. I was speaking to myself, because I was like, she knows all that. She knows I'm not in a good place, but she's asking me. I look up to the sky, and I said, God, really? And I said, bring her over. So she brings her over. I had to, take time out of my grieving again for about 4 hours to take care of her. Now, that in that moment began to hit me that God was trying to give me hints. God was talking to me one way or the other, because the first time that my daughter and the husband came, they didn't know what had happened. They didn't know why they were being pressed to come to my house. They had no clue. And when they came, I prayed with them. It was after everything that they found out that I just found out my dad died. But this lady was saying that, oh, don't worry. I already know that. I already know that you lost your dad. You're in pain, and you're grieving, and you're brokenhearted. I know all that story. But I need you to pray for my daughter. And I was like, this must be a test. God wants to see my true love for him. This must be a test, because I am carrying this pain, but there is someone who has a greater pain or something she's going through. And if I am really a woman of God, then I'm going to pay attention. So she comes over, and I go ahead and I pray. And after prayers, I go back to crying. Because I was like, okay, God, I hear you. I hear you. And God is like, are you going to stop serving me? Are you going to still love me? Are you still going to do my work, even when your heart is so broken? So two situations within 4 days of this devastating news, and God finds a way to bring people to see if I still love him. I still kept on going in my grief. Then a week later, I get another storm. What is it? So I found out in the storm that my dear mom has cancer. What? No. What? No. Who? Mommy? No. No. It can't be. No, my dad just died. Why are you telling me this now? Why is somebody telling me? Why is somebody giving me more bad news? I can handle it. I can take it. And God said, I'm here. So that is another blow. I haven't stopped crying from daddy's death a week ago, and I get this news. This news shook my foundation. I'm talking about my 80-year-old beautiful mom that I just celebrated her birthday. And what are you saying? She's 80. She can't have cancer. No. She looks okay. She's fine. She's doing well. So what are you talking about? Yes. And brothers and sisters, that was another blow. It just, pushed me back, and so now the tears were uncontrollable, and I didn't know how to deal with that. I went into prayer. I went to God. I went with questions. I went with, my petitions. Lord, save my mom. Lord, hold my mom up. If you've taken my dad, please keep my mom, heal her, restore her to good health. So I pick it up. So this is in February, okay? So I'm dealing with that. So now my mom, I have to focus on planning daddy's funeral and also deal with cancer treatments and find a way to work with mommy through our grief and her situation. And I'm telling you, it was emotionally draining, psychologically, mentally. It was a lot. And all this time, nobody knew. Everybody knew that my father died, but nobody knew that here my mom had cancer at 80 and it could take her life. So I keep it to myself like a typical African. I keep it to myself and I just, keep going on. Then in the month of February, so January storm is over. Now we're in February. Now bear in mind that, as I said, I have an annual Women's International Conference, a power conference that comes off in March. So it was already pre-planned. It was already in the pipe works. It's coming on the 9th of March, and everybody's looking forward to it. I was looking forward to it. So now, do I go ahead with the planning? Do I stop the planning? Do I stop the conference and just focus on grieving and, cancer treatments? And every time I prayed about it, it was like, okay, God's work still must go on. So the conference is going to happen, but let's go back to February. So in February, another month comes. I'm gradually processing that daddy's gone. I'm gradually getting to the day-to-day understanding of what's happening with mommy, and still praying and still trusting God and still declaring by faith that it shall be well. February comes along and another surprising news. My son, yes, my son Leslie, my 21-year-old, very handsome, smart young man, is not feeling too well. Hold on. He's not feeling too well? He's not doing well? Okay, no. I already have two things that I'm literally going on, so I cannot take any more bad news. No, not this time. I can't breathe if anything new comes up. Okay. Something new is coming up. And I hope you stay tuned for it in the next episode, stay tuned. You're watching The Glorious Life Hour with Lady Prophetess Jennifer Osenati.